Hey everyone, Todd Schutte here with the Bona eLearning and Machine Service teams. Welcome to the first of what we hope is a whole planned series of webinars for you guys, our customers and e-learning colleagues. We've got a lot to go through today. We're obviously all going through a very unique and interesting time. I think that's the best way to put it right now. But whether your business came to a halt or whether things have just slowed down, whether you haven't slowed down at all, we really think that e-learning is a great way for you guys to supplement on-the-job experience and any live training that you can attend, whether it's at NWFA or manufactured sponsored training. E-learning and other virtual training is something you guys should all be working into your system. Most of all, we hope everybody's safe out there and getting along well with this, but take the time to push back from your business, take a look around, talk to your whole team about, hey, how are things changing? What can we change? How are we going to come out of this better? It's one thing that we saw out of the last recession, in 2008, 2009, which really was a financial recession versus this medical recession we're facing right now. But we saw different companies come out of that, new companies come out of it, the same companies that had completely rebuilt themselves. So take this as an opportunity and not a risk or not a total shutdown. While you've got the chance, push back, take a look at what's happening out there, and again, talk to your whole team and figure out how you can come out of this better. So our agenda today, we've got a lot to talk about. First, we're going to go through the benefits of e-learning. You may not have thought about them, but there's a lot of benefits to virtual and e-learning versus live training. While it'll never take the place of it, it's just the business that we're in, right? On our hands and knees, on the job training, there's no better place to get that experience. However, it's hard to repeat that stuff, especially the live training from manufacturers. So e-learning can really be a great supplement to what you're doing out there. It's always available for you. It's ready when you are. It goes at the speed that you want to go. And it's always there as a long-term reference. So we're going to go into the benefits of e-learning. We're going to show you around bonatraining.com because we really want you to get the most out of it when you do go in there. Don't forget about all the resource material that's available for you to download, print out, view while you're going through the course, best practices sheets, long-term reference material, and of course all the demonstration videos that are available in there. We also want to then talk about some ideas on how to use e-learning to make your business better. How do you train all your technicians with it? You can train everybody in your company with it for that matter. Get everybody signed up who could benefit. But we'll talk about some out of the box ideas that we've heard from other contractors on how they're using e-learning and Bona training in particular to make their company better. And then what's next? We've got some big things planned for e-learning and Bona training, and we just want to give you a little insight into the things we're planning, but then also open the door for you guys to give us your suggestions back. Because really it's what is important to you is what is important to us. So if you have questions while we're going through this, you can post them in the chat function. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end of this once we come out of the what's next section. So you can hold them until that point too if you want. But we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into the benefits of e-learning, and we'll see you over there. So let's take a look at the benefits of e-learning. Some of you may be surprised, but we started thinking about e-learning all the way back before we even started the BCCP program. With all the training and stuff that we were doing, and then again going into the recession, then when we came out of it and started training heavy again, we kept asking ourselves the question, wouldn't it be great if we could get all this stuff online so that people would be able to see it when they want to, come back to it when they need to. But at that point, e-learning, the whole industry was kind of in its infancy. But starting then around 2015, e-learning and the different platforms and stuff that we have now came into being, and we said, hey, let's go ahead with this thing because we think there's a lot of pluses for ourselves and for our customers down the road. One of those is obviously convenience and speed. So versus live training, e-learning is available anytime, anywhere, on any device, but more importantly, when you're ready for it. There's no set schedule. If you get interrupted and you have to stop, you can come back to it. It's really convenient way to take training because it's ready when you are and it's ready to start back up when you are. It's also at your own speed. You know, some guys, depending on if there's language barriers, if they're brand new to this business, sometimes in our schools, because we are live schools, because we have so much to cover, we go at a pretty fast pace. And sometimes we tend to lose some people with that. But with e-learning, hey, you can go back, you can repeat all the VO on that screen, you can pause it so that you can kind of read through stuff, make sure that you understand it before you go on. So it's also learning at your speed. You also can really cut back on costs. There's, no travel costs as far as hotel, automobile, gas, fuel, food, hotels, no travel time, no travel costs. And that makes it much easier for you to get something that we think is really important, and that's full roster. So that's just not you as the owner or your lead technician or maybe your top 2 or 3 technicians. Everybody in your company can get on e-learning and take advantage of it. This is one of the biggest because with learning and true learning, especially what we call retention, you don't usually get that the first time around when people are going over material. You have to have it repeated. And obviously with live training, that's difficult and really costly. Plus, to get better retention, you have to repeat it, kind of early and often until it's ingrained in your head that you've got it down. So e-learning's easily repeatable, and we'll show you some great ways that you can come back to the material and use it as a long-term reference, whether it's the whole course, pieces of the course, or even just the demonstration videos that would really help ingrain, new products, new processes, best practices, different ways that you can be successful with Bona products. On the business point of view, it also helps with what we call the other 47 things. When you come to our full sand and finish school, on hand or hands-on training, we say that you probably leave, even if you've been in the business for 40, 50 years, your second, third generation, everybody probably leaves with 50 things that could help their business. And it's usually 50 small things. It's nothing earth-changing or whatever, life-changing, but it's these 50 small things that if you put them in, man, what a difference it could make to your business. But by the time you get home from the school Friday night, you've probably forgotten 30 of those. Monday morning rolls around. Now it's down to 10 that you've only remembered. And then you only remember to put 3 of them into your business. So what a waste of opportunity for those other 47 things, those small things that if you could just have some way to kind of go back and look at them and be reminded of them, again, what a difference that could make to your business. About the only way to do that is through the e-learning. We've also got additional content because we have more time here. We can cut out all the down space in between, maybe cut out some of the guys' stories, even though they're good stories. They do take up time and they take away from some of the other things that you might want to learn about or need to learn about. But in e-learning, we can go over everything. Since we started our training, which was almost 30 years ago, we've obviously got more products, more lines of business, different ways of doing things, and yet we continue to cut back on our school time. We used to have 5-day schools and then 4-day schools, and now we're down to 3-day schools or 2-day seminars because we understand everybody's time is valuable, but so is all the information and getting the right information and the full gamut of information. So again, with e-learning, we can put all that up there for you, and it's not going to take any more time. In fact, a lot of times it may take less to go through all the content in e-learning because we can cut out all the dead space. It's also more flexible because you can use it and just go through all the training by yourself as an individual, or you can have team meetings and go through one of the courses or re-go through one of the courses or demonstration videos, whatever you want to do, pull it up, go through it with your whole team, have a discussion about it. There's no better way to engage with your whole team and make sure everybody's on the same page and then see that success transfer out into the field than by doing something together. So whether you try to employ that right now while we're on quarantine, or while some people are still on quarantine, or maybe I should say stay at home, or safer at home, to engage with your team. But it also goes back to having those monthly meetings that we talk about at the live schools. And if you're not doing that, again, it's a small, great idea to change your business. Once a month, have a team meeting, bring in lunch for everybody, talk about ways to improve the business, because you never know who or where a great idea is going to come from, and reward those people for bringing those things to your business. Another one is accessibility and language barriers. So, not everybody can travel to our live schools. Not everybody's got that time. Sometimes there's some travel restrictions, definitely some language barriers we're facing out there. So again, e-learning can help with all of that. You need a device and you need access to Wi-Fi for accessibility. And of course, you got to have an account on there with your username, password. Not even necessary that you have an individual email. We can work around that, and we can talk to you about that a little bit. Although it's really easy for everybody to get a free Gmail account these days in order to have that individual email address to sign up, or one of the other internet email platforms. You've also got the freedom to fail, and the freedom to fail in private. I never thought about this with our live training. And you always think about, the guys who come into our classes who have 20, 30, 40 years experience, that they're not going to be afraid to engage and ask questions and stuff. But a lot of times those guys, they find out that they don't know quite everything, or they learn something new. Then they get a little afraid to ask a question because they've already told everybody they've got 20, 30, 40 years in the business. And this applies as much to the brand new guy too, who doesn't want to sound stupid in front of everybody and that he doesn't know anything about what's going on. But with e-learning, you can take your time, you can ask those questions, you could reach back out to your territory manager, to the e-learning team, to our tech and training team. If you don't understand something, you can ask the question that you might have been afraid to ask in a live class in front of everybody else. And that is the only bad question. Is the question that's not asked, because that's the question we can never answer for you, and then you can't get that knowledge and proceed with your success with using, Bona products and processes. So with e-learning, it's the only place where you have the freedom to fail in private. For us, this is even a challenge in getting the same message out there and having some consistency. Again, we've got some great personalities in our sales team and our tech and training team. So if you would go to a seminar or one of our schools, 4 different ones with 4 different guys leading it, you would get maybe a little bit 4 different kinds of experiences there, maybe 4 different messages. Hopefully that they wouldn't miss the main message or main messages all the time. But with e-learning, again, we can nail that down and make sure that you always get the same message. We're always talking about the same best practices, showing them in the same manner. So that makes sure that, you and your team, if you want to know where the Bible is on, what you should be saying and doing with the Bona products, it's in the e-learning. And then sustainability. Again, we definitely cut down on our carbon footprint when we don't have any travel time and costs. Also, any of the materials that, a lot of our materials when we do a school, they're use it once and throw it away. Which is kind of a shame, but that's so long in between classes at some of our locations that we know those things aren't going to last. So we also save on those materials being wasted. It's also really easy to add on to e-learning as things change or a new product comes out or a process changes, where it can be a little difficult to hem those things in when we're doing the live training. So those are just some of the benefits to e-learning. And I'm sure there's a lot more. Maybe you've even found some from your own experience of going onto the system. But if that's all we had, that's a lot. So understand what you've got there and why it might be important that you and your team now start engaging on the e-learning side of our training opportunities, as well as the live training. All right, so now we've pulled up the browser that we want to use, and we'll always go to bonatraining.com. And that'll take us to the site that we want to use. All right, so here's where you're going to need your username, password, and the first time that you log on or that you got the invitation, it will give you a link that will take you right into the system so that you can set up your profile and then change your password. But then whenever you come back, if you've saved, this page to your favorites or whatever, you'll need to remember your username, password. We think it's probably easiest to keep your username as your email address. You may want to change your password to whatever you want. You can also show your password. You can click remember me on this computer. That way it'll save both of those and you don't have to remember either one. And then, of course, if you do forget, there's a link to click here. We'll then get a notification. We can go in and send you out a link to go back in and either change your password or remind you of what it was. All right. So one thing I want to do here is, if English isn't your first language, because most everybody we set up as English to start with, it's easy if you go under My Profile and Settings to at least change your navigation language to maybe your home language or your native language. So if you scroll down to Localization, there's a couple things I'd recommend you do, and that's change your time zone. That's going to be important when we start scheduling stuff on here, like instructor-led training. So now if we go to your home screen, again, where most people are going to spend the majority of their time, you're going to see, first of all your courses, the title view, list view. So I like kind of the tile view where it gives a little bigger picture of the course and the main title underneath. Or you can go to list view if you like this a little more. Either one, just know that you've got that different functionality there, and it's just the view that you're seeing. So all is going to be all the courses that have been assigned to you that you have not completed yet. Okay. If you've completed them, this is maybe one of the more important things to know too. So if I want to come back to something for a reference and I've completed it 100%, it's not going to be in this list under all, even though that might be a little counterintuitive and not make sense. But if I come over here under completed, here's the ones I've got at 100%. Then I can go back in there and use those as long-term reference and come back and take a look at them. So understand just your home screen, your different tabs here, and then also Bona News. This is stuff posted from the eLearning team. If we have anything here for you, we'll post it here, but you may want to take a look at that from time to time. Make sure there's nothing new in there that you've missed. All right. Then we can continue down. So content library, as you can see here, if we post similar courses that we might have up here in home, so these are going to be all the English-based courses. Once we start doing stuff in other languages, like getting all the Bona Stand and Finish School courses in Spanish, those will be listed here. So right now we've got Bona History, we've got Bona Mega 1. We're working on several others, but usually those will be listed here. Then I can go down to my achievements. This shows any of the courses that I have completed. It'll also show you here if there's an expiration date and the date that you did complete it. So you can see that Bona Adhesives here, I finished it on May 7th of 2020. It's good for 2 years until May 7th of 2022. Then I will automatically get a reminder 60 days before this goes away to get back on and take that course. All right. Some of the courses aren't going to have expiration dates, but any of the full sand and finish classes where we want to make sure people are just staying up to date as things change, they're going to be required that you redo those every 2 years. Then you can also look over here if you're on a team that has a leaderboard posted to it. You'll be able to look over here and see how you're doing compared to other people who are on some of those same teams that you are. So you can see here that my little pseudonym, I've only finished 2 of the courses. I've got 50 points, but Bobby Lima, one of our BCCPs, he's finished all 9 courses that we have in English, plus one of the Spanish courses. So he's beating everybody else with 250 points. You can also look down here and see your just internal badges and what those look like. And again, our next webinar will be going over the external badges, the little fancier versions of those that you can actually use on your website, on your business cards, wherever you want to. But at least we've got these internal badges now for you to also work off of. So let's go inside a course. Let's look at abrasives. And one thing when you open up a course, you're going to notice, all the different module chapters. So we could have a course module, we can have video modules, we've got the review module, and then sometimes, as you see here, we've also got optional modules. All right. Now, the videos, sometimes they're embedded actually in the course, but we will always take the videos and also put them here. And we'll also load them on our Pro YouTube channel, just because we know the videos are the things that you're going to come back long-term and reference the most, and we really want to make them easy to find. So even if we do have a video inside the course, we'll always post it here too, and again, out on our YouTube channel. And then the optional ones are, they're little things that we find that are not, whether it's a survey, whether it's another video like this one I ran across on the show How It's Made, and it's about abrasive grains. I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to put it on here, but it's not, required in order for you to finish out the course, but you still may want to take a look at it. So then let's look at additional references. So we've got our modules, we've got additional references. So this is all the documents, the information documents that we've put into the course that are great things for you to download. You can just open them up and view them online. You can print them off. Some of the things I'd recommend that while you're going through the course that maybe you print off, one would be key takeaways. This is like your crib sheet or your cheat sheet for the course, that if you print this off and you read through it and you understand all the stuff that's printed on here, one, you should definitely be able to pass the review just using this sheet as your guide. But two, like we say here, if there's nothing else you remember about this course, remember all the stuff on this page, these key takeaways. Another thing that we put in every course we called featured products. So on this one with adhesives, it's going to be all the adhesives that we carry. And you've got your item numbers here, typically what the size is that they come in, if there's a certain number per case, so that you don't have to hunt around in our catalog. If you've just gone through the adhesives course and you're like, oh, I want to get some of that RA880, you don't have to go hunt in the catalog for it. It's all right here in the featured product sheet. And we'll also put stuff that is related to the course, maybe not in this one with adhesives, related to the course, but may not be just in that product line itself. Another great info doc is called Best Practices. Again, this along with your key takeaways, if you guys just print these out and learn them, this is also where you're going to find your other 47 things that will help improve your business, your processes, the quality of your jobs. They're all the little things that aren't on the label that, we've learned over years of experience, that you guys have passed on from your years of experience, that we learned in the schools and we just wrote it down. So best practices, key takeaways, and then of course, also in additional references, you're going to find all your TDSs, your technical data sheets for the particular products in that course, and then your safety data sheets for all those particular products too. Okay, so just know that all of that stuff is in here, right? So every course you go to, don't forget about this tab and go in there, take a peek, print off some of the stuff to use and to help you while you're going through the course, but also for long-term reference, it's going to be a really good info for you to have. And then here's one other place where you can communicate with us. This is the discussion tab. So, you could go back up here to messages and just send a message to myself or Krista or your TM. If you go into the discussion tab, it's going to be a discussion aimed at anybody who's ever taken the abrasives course and who has said they want to participate in this discussion. So again, at least Krista and I will get it. So if there's something in particular about the abrasives course or any course you're in, you find something wrong, you've got another tip or trick you want to share with us, just hit the discussion tab. It will bring up, you can just join this discussion, type your note in there, hit post, and it's going to put it in there for us. Okay. And then let's go inside the course module. So let's start out, let's go in the course. Now, one thing you see here is, and if I exit back, I guess, this shows that I've started the course and I'm partway done with it. But until I get the full green circle on there, I'm not 100% done, or I haven't viewed enough of the course to have it counted as complete. So if I was going through it and I got interrupted and I'm coming back, I love this, that it always gives you the chance to, hey, resume where you left off, or go back and restart. If it's been, a couple months and you got interrupted, you might want to just go back and restart. Otherwise, you can just hit resume and it's going to bring you right back to the place where you stopped. Within the course, some things I want you to take note of. One, there's the course map. So you can use this to, one, see anything that you might have missed. So you'll notice here that all of the page or screen headlines, they're all muted out because I've already visited those screens. Whereas all the ones coming up, they're still highlighted, meaning I still haven't visited those. Sometimes we'll have some learners accidentally miss some screens for whatever reason. So when we go back to that green circle, it keeps telling them they're not complete. If that happens, one thing you can do is, check back into the course, highlight this, and then just open up all of these drop downs to see which screens you may have missed. But this is also a way then when you come back to review a course, you don't have to go screen by screen by screen right from the beginning. You can go through here, you can find the screen that you want to go to, you can click on that, and it'll take you right to that screen. Bona and Sia follow a special. We've also got the course module chapters map. So this goes right back to, my main screen that I have where it's got the course module that I'm in right now. It also shows that I've visited both of these video modules, and I actually started the review module. This video module I haven't touched. And then both of the optional things I haven't touched. So this will let you navigate back to that main course menu just from inside this particular course module if you want to. You can always just exit out here and go back to that main course menu as well. And then resources. These are a lot of the same information docs that are in additional references, but I just wanted to point this out. Sometimes some of this stuff may not be down in additional references, but we do our best to make sure it's all down there too. Sometimes during the course, we're going to actually point you to the resources tab and, urge you at that point to open up or download one of the key information docs in here. We just don't want you to forget about those. And then feedback, again, another place where right within the course, hey, if you run into something that's wrong, you have a question about it and you don't want to continue on until you let us know about it, click feedback. And again, that'll send a note right to Krista and myself, and we can get back to you or send your question on to maybe your territory manager or one of the tech guys, and somebody can get back to you on that. So there's plenty of places to communicate with us. So just be aware of those while you're going through the courses. And then I wanted to come back to this screen just to, again, highlight some of the interactions. So it's not just all voiceover and just this VO timer going through here, but a lot of times you're going to have, proper backing, certain interactions to come up and click on. It's going to open up another information pane. We may have VO on that. It may just be something to read through. You may even have another click on somewhere in here to open something else up. So just be aware of all those as, again, you're going through the course so that you don't miss any of those. And then understand when I'm saying VO, I'm talking about the voiceover. So, the animated voice that's leading you through the course as it goes is called VO. All right, so let's go back out now, and I want to go inside a review. So let's go to one of the courses already completed. Let's go down to the review. Now, I've already finished this one, but again, the reviews are not meant to fail you guys. They're not meant to frustrate anybody. On most of them, you're going to need an 80% pass mark. There's no time limit. There's no limit on how many times you can take it. It's usually going to be probably about a 20 question test, so you got to get 16 of them correct. But I just want you to be aware of this hint. It says if you get a question wrong, it will provide some feedback before sending you on to the next question. So if you answer a question and it automatically goes to the next question, that means you got that question right. If it provides some feedback, then what you can do is make a note on the next question. And I'll show you what I mean there. Because it will also, when you get to the end of answering those 20 questions, it's going to give you a chance to go back and review all of your answers on questions 1 through 20 before you submit it for a final marking. All right. So if I do start here, and see, I've still got 20 questions left. Anyway, I'll just show you on a wrong one. So advantages. So we'll just mark this one. Okay. So even though I know I'm on question 1 right here, all right, I'm going to say next question. But wait, I got some feedback. It says, sorry, that's not right. Bona silane is a unique product, blah, 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 others contain lead, tin, or too soft and flexible for optimal performance on wood flooring. So one, I may want to, take a picture of this with my phone. I may want to jot down some notes. And then I push continue. Okay, so now I'm going to make a little note that, hey, this question that says what 3 features make Bona silane adhesive a better choice, the question before that I got wrong. You can also go down here, and if you know there's 20 questions, I got 19 remaining or 5 remaining. That'll tell me also which question it was that was before this that I got wrong. And then again, when I get to the end, it's going to give me a chance to review all of those questions before I submit it for a final marking. So there's no reason to really struggle with the reviews. Take your time, use some of those print off resources that I told you about, like the key takeaways and best practices. If you use those, most of the answers, at least 80%, should be on there. So those should even help you just get through that review. And then again, you can take it as many times as you need. So I've been really impressed. Some people will, I know they're struggling a bit, but they'll take it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times until they understand that little tip that, hey, it's always going to give you a chance to go back and review. So make your notes if it sends you something that says you got that one wrong, and then go back and change your answers just for that question. All right. And then once you get the review all correct, congratulations, you passed the course. Then you'll be getting your notification from Acclaim that you now have a badge that you can go in and get. And if there's any points available for that course, that's also going to then show up, like we said, down on your achievements, and you'll get your points added to your total score. So that's kind of it as far as getting into the courses themselves, into bonatraining.com, finding your way around, maybe changing the navigation language, understanding how the reviews work, knowing that when you get into a course that you've got, the different modules, you've got references, and you've got a discussion board in there. All right. So let's move on now to our out-of-the-box thinking question. And this is where we want to think about how can we take ourselves, either individually or with our whole team, and use e-learning and the resources on here to talk about our business. What are our processes? How are we using the products? Did we learn things within this course that, would help make us better if we all share that? So let's head on over to that section, and we'll see you there. Okay, so let's take a couple minutes now to talk about, a little bit what we would call out-of-the-box thinking. How can you help your company get better, use e-learning, whether again it's on an individual basis, on a team basis, but what are some of the things you think you could do here to use this as a system to help you guys get better that maybe you weren't doing before? One, like we already mentioned, is are you having a monthly company meeting? And part of that meeting could be, again, to pull up one of the courses or one of the demo videos, or even the best practices sheet or key takeaways for one of the courses, and just have a discussion about it. You know, in all of the live training that we do, one of the very first things we talk about is we try to teach the why. And a lot of times guys are only taught what to do, maybe how to do it, but they're not told why. You know, that's something that we take away from our kids at a very young age, because, you know, if you have little kids, if you've experienced that, and I've experienced it 4 times through, is they start asking why at a very early age. Why? And, you know, pretty soon our answer tends to be because I told you so, which is a bad answer. But we need to start getting that out of our people again. Ask why. Because once we understand why, now you can have a discussion on, well, how do we get there? And is there a better way? Because as we all know, there's usually more than one way to get there. And things change, tools change, processes change. And maybe somebody saw something somewhere. Maybe they come from a different industry, whether it's cabinet making or concrete or tile work or general construction, and they've got an idea for how we might be able to get to, you know, that same outcome, but a little different ways. So definitely start using, again, maybe a monthly meeting. One, first make sure everybody gets on in your whole company, gets on and takes advantage of e-learning, but maybe start looking at some group training. Again, whether it's in Zoom, whether it's in Microsoft Teams, there are a number of different platforms you can use to set up group trainings. A lot of them also then have a whiteboard option that you can pull up and take your notes on, and then print those off as your own notes. You know, what did you guys in particular for your business learn that could really help things? And then even run through the reviews, you know, the test and the quizzes together, to talk about the answers and what's right and what's wrong, and, you know, how might we tweak that a little bit with our business. But I think that's a way that you can definitely use it, e-learning and your experience on there and the resources and reference materials on there to help improve your business. And again, not just now, while some of us are still, you know, kind of working from home or business has slowed down a little bit, but keep this going. It's definitely a wave of the future that you want to grab onto now if you want to stay a part of that elite group of contractors and business people out there. The other thing that some guys have been doing and talking about is tying their pay scale to training achievements, right? So again, whether it's Bona, the bonatraining.com, whether it's NWFA, whether it's both of them, again, any training and improvement that your team can get is valuable. So what would it mean to you, you know, to have every guy pass a course? Maybe it's a course on stains because you guys have been really having a problem with guys screwing up the stains, water popping, putting the stain on too early because the guys don't understand that, or thinking that it's dry when it's not dry. And if we have difficulties with that, how can we, you know, what are the best practices that Bona laid out in their stains course that will help assure us that the stain's dry before we go on to that next step, especially if we've water popped it, to help ensure we're not going to get that callback 6 months down the road when we had wet stain still in the seams and in the soft grain, and now it's causing a problem. So any training, any improvement that your guys can get, it's got to be worth something to you. And what can you use to help drive those guys that on their own time, they will seek to go out and get that extra training? Again, they don't have to go through e-learning, Bona training, NWFA training on their NWFA university on your time, right? They can do it on their time at night, on the weekends, whatever, if they want to help themselves and invest in themselves. And it doesn't have to be tied to the pay scale. You could just have, you know, some sort of monetary bonus or some other type of rewards. Maybe you give out some gift cards to, you know, local restaurants or movie theaters or something else that might be more appropriate now. but something just to, give them some acknowledgement of their achievements, the efforts they're making, their desire to get better, and your appreciation of what they're doing out there. And I guarantee once you start seeing guys take advantage of some of this other training, they're going to come in and start throwing out some ideas, and you guys can have some great discussions then from those things that they're bringing in. There's nothing better than to see your folks bringing ideas to you versus you having to try to come up with all the ideas yourself. Then we've got, like I said, full roster. At this point, a lot of people that are signed up for bonatraining.com are just those folks that have come to our live training. But we're telling you, get everybody signed up. There is no limit right now on who you can get signed up. So get all of your technicians signed up. Get your salespeople signed up. Get your warehouse people signed up. If you have other support people, anybody that you think would benefit from learning more about Bona, or even just another successful business like Bona, more about our products, more about the processes, more about the way we sit there and think, hey, for every course, for every product, there's key takeaways, there's best practices. It might help them develop that same sort of system for your business. So again, all we need is a first name, last name, and email address for you guys to get going. All right, so get everybody signed up and let's hit full roster for you. Another thing we've thought about is I'm a huge fan of Jeopardy. And in the past, we have had Bona Jeopardy games at our live training. I think Dee and his team are bringing those back, so I hope they are, because they're a lot of fun. But there's something we can even rig up on bonatraining.com to simulate a Jeopardy game. And I'm really hoping to get almost a cross-platform Jeopardy competition going, probably based on a timer system and total points earned, where we can kind of pit you guys against each other to see, hey, who gets bragging rights? Who's the James Holzhauer or Ken Jennings of Bona Jeopardy within our BCCP and contractor group? So that may be another idea that we can come up with. Also, what I would call the Bona Knowledge Master. I'm thinking about really putting a all-around test or quiz out there. The reviews that you guys go through for the courses, they're not meant to fail you, and this wouldn't be either. Something like a Master Knowledge Challenge would be set up just to put maybe some tougher questions out there to see if you really do know your stuff. Again, maybe timed, probably at least 100 questions, if not 150. So it would take a while to go through it. But I think we would get, several really nice prizes to go out there with it when we got to the end of that competition. So that's just another idea that we've been thinking of how can we bring bonatraining.com along and have a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. So we would again pose that question to you guys, right? What do you need? What out-of-the-box ideas do you have on, one, how you could use Bona training, or how we can help you use it? Any ideas you have, just make sure you shoot them out there. You can put them up right now on the chat screen, or just send us, an individual email back, and we'll get to work on it for you if it's a good idea. So the last thing that we want to talk about today before we open it up to a little Q&A is what's the future? So what are we thinking about? How is bonatraining.com going to expand? And how is that going to help me and my business down the road to, again, help better train my technicians, help better train, everybody that's in my group, help us hopefully come out of this, business slowdown a little stronger than ever. One is we're working on right now, and as soon as we get back to the studio or to the service center, we're going to start filming what we call the machine service video series. That's going to include individual videos on every machine that we have that'll be, out of the box. So when I get a brand new machine, pulling it out of the box, what's supposed to be in there, how do I set it up, any adjustments that I need to make, what's kind of the standard usage. Not that we don't think, again, you guys who have experience, how to use it, but we just want to point out, again, some of the key things on our particular machines that you might want to keep in mind when you're using it, including additional adjustments. Why are there additional adjustments, and why or when might I need to make those during the process that either I use or that Bona might suggest when I'm sanding and finishing a floor or doing recoats or whatever. Then maybe of more interest to you guys would be preventative maintenance. So we're going to be coming out with those on a pretty short time frame, and we'll put them out, one by one as we get them. We're not going to wait till we have the whole series done because we don't want you guys waiting for that. And it may take us the rest of the year to shoot that whole series, but we're coming out with all of those. We'll also continue to upload all of our 4-day courses, or if we just want to call them the full sand and finish school courses. So that's going to entail 21 different courses. I think we've got 9 of them up and running right now. And the other thing that we'll be doing there is having those in Spanish. So as we come out with each of those full courses, we also want to try to have a full Spanish course available for you guys, for those technicians and even contractor owners, whoever might benefit from that, knowing that that is the second most widely used language within the U.S. We also, this is a question for you guys. What kind of education and business webinars would you like to see from us? One, if you haven't noticed yet, all the webinars that we did and the seminars that we did at one of the BCCP conventions, those are all loaded onto the bonatraining.com platform already. So we've already got some stuff there, but what else would you like to see? You let us know and we'll see if we can put it together. We may have some of our own ideas along those lines too, but you guys really know from your own business perspective what you need, what you'd want, what would be helpful. So please share it with that, or please share that with us, and we will do our best to get it up there for you. We're also going to continue to have more ILT, instructor-led training. So these are going to be live sessions that we would have at our studio, maybe out in our hands-on room, again, on a particular product or process or combination of the two. Just, it'll be a little more fun, a little more real versus pre-recorded stuff to have some of these instructor-led live trainings out there for you guys. And then, of course, definitely pre-recorded videos. I bet when we're done with all of the 21 full sand and finish school courses, we're going to have well over 100 demonstration videos for you guys. So we were just in the process of getting our new studio installed at our new offices here in Denver. As soon as we get back, again, we'll get that done and we'll start shooting the rest of those videos that we have in the works for you guys. So be expecting to see a lot more demonstration videos, both on bonatraining.com and then, as we showed you, on our Pro YouTube channel that you can get on there and reference now or long term to go back and see those things. We also have plans to put the CEUs online. Dave Darsh has been traveling around extensively putting those on for the last, 2, 3, 4 years. I don't think it's 5 yet, but it might be. But again, what a better platform to house that kind of material. One, again, is a reference piece for those architects who did attend, or those designers, or whoever it was that attended, and even for the people in their group who couldn't attend. So it'll be a great reference piece. So not only will they get access to the CEUs, but we can also give them access to other Bona training courses where we can talk more about Bona and we don't have to be so neutral as we do in the CEUs. So we are planning down the road on having those online too. So again, guys and gals, what do you need? What do you want to see from Bona and Bona Training, bonatraining.com? That's the question we have for you. So again, make sure you shoot those ideas you have out to us, or you can bring them up here in the chat. But now let's open it up to questions and answers. So hold on for a second while we go live here again, and we'll open it up to you. All right, so now we're back for the live Q&A. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope you got a lot out of what you saw about the courses. I hope some of you guys have been in bonatraining.com already and have been able to go through some of those. Again, I think e-learning is incredibly valuable. And it's a really good, again, a complement to any of the live training, any of the on-the-job training that you guys already have set out there for your companies. Any questions that you do have, please post them to the chat. I'll be able to see those. If you don't have any, I'll be able to go back to ones that we know come up quite a bit. We've had about a 500% uptick in guys getting on to bonatraining.com since we've gone into the work from home, work safer from home, all of that stuff going. And we've only started really scratching the tip of the iceberg on this. We got a lot more we can do. As you can see, we've got a lot more plans for you guys. But again, we want the feedback from you. What do you want to see? So let me just double check questions here. How do I get a Bona football, preferably with my signature on it? Thanks, Lenny. Probably seeing that behind me. I'll send you one out. It'll probably have an Oakland Raiders theme on it too, but being down there in Miami, you might have to live with that. One question that does come up is, again, I love the idea of getting my whole team signed up. Is there any cost? No. So just send us your list of, first name, last name, email address, and we can get everybody in your company signed up. We've had a lot of distributors taking advantage of getting their whole teams trained, a lot of contractor companies, a lot of our global customers have been getting on Bona training because, they're in a much worse situation in a lot of other countries than we are here in North America. So a lot stricter shutdowns, a lot worse things going on, but a lot of people now taking advantage of this type of virtual learning to help continue to move things forward. But there's no cost to it. We always consider training as it's a Bona investment in our customers. So we want to continue to do whatever we can to get you guys, again, just those little details that aren't on the jug that we've learned from you guys being out there in the field over the years, all the little tips and tricks that help make you successful. Anything else? Again, if you have a question about logging in or functionality, get a hold of, again, krista.hernandez@bona.com or todd.schutte@bona.com. Again, we showed you several different places within the bonatraining.com where you can actually send us a message direct without having to remember our names or anything like that. Or get a hold of your TM, your territory manager, your tech and training guys, if that's who you have a relationship and know somebody from Bona from that side. But just get a hold of us directly. Love to get you guys going. And if you want us to have a little individual training session with you and your whole company, just let us know that too. We'd be happy to hop on, again, a call like this, a Zoom call, help you guys get to understand the system better and how you could actually use it a little more for your company. All right. What's coming up next? Just some other ideas. I think the next webinar we might do will probably be a live instructor-led training with all of our sealers. I know there's still a lot of questions that come up about Nordic seal, about natural seal, intense, amber seal, even dry fast sealer. So what are some of the ins and outs of those products? Can I roll them? Can I T-bar them? What do I got to be careful of? What issues have guys had out there in the field? We'll go over all that. We're just about ready to start the install on our new studio here. I expect to have that done next week, and then we can plan this next instructor-led training on all the Bona sealers. Any other questions? How long? No, some of you guys have been taking advantage of the badging program. So the question is, how long does it take to receive my badge? Krista runs that report once a week. So if anything else, it'll take 5 to 7 days for you to get that notification from a claim. Then you can go in, set up your profile on a claim, accept your badge, and then it will take you through some different ways to share that, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, download it for your website or to attach to your business cards or just for your own, personal reward. But we'll also do a webinar coming up more on the badging program because I think it's kind of an ingenious idea of using some of these to increase your credibility with your homeowner customers on, what have I been doing or what do I push my company to do to increase our training and to keep getting that training and that knowledge and to really make us experts in our field. So that's just one of the things you can do is take advantage of the badging. All right. No other questions I see coming in, so I think we'll go ahead and sign off. But again, we're going to record this. We'll post it on bonatraining.com for any of you guys who want to come back in and watch it again if you have nothing else to do, or send some of your other crew in to take advantage of it and see it if they didn't get a chance to tune in today. But again, thanks for your time, everybody. Appreciate your business. Hope everybody is being safe and healthy out there, and that your businesses aren't taking too much of a hit. That sand and finish is going well. Hopefully new installs are picking up. But take care of yourself, and we'll see you on the next webinar. Bye now.